Hey everyone, welcome to the Get Your Life Together Girl Mini Mindset Reset. I'm your host, Danielle Van. As a cognitive behavioral therapist, a life coach to women, and author, one thing has become abundantly clear. So much of what gets in our way in our daily lives is not only how we think, but what we think, our mindset. Because of that, every other week, I'm taking your requests and questions and handing over quick, easy to use, practical strategies and life tools to help you shift your thinking, create calm, help you understand and express your emotions, harness your inner power, and learn how to navigate your personal story in 15 minutes or less. After all, how else can you get your life together? So let's shift your perspective with the tools and conversations that help you in the throes of change. The Get Your Life Together Girl podcast mini mindset reset starts right now. Oh my goodness, this is the 100th episode of the Get Your Life Together Girl podcast. What an adventure this has been. I'm so grateful for everyone who has listened, written in, asked questions, and have suggested topics. You have all made these 100 episodes so incredibly special. I'm excited to see what happens over the next 100. It's amazing to me. So today, I thought we would chat about purpose in this mini mindset reset. Purpose is one of those things that I'm asked about often, and many of you have written asking if there is a surefire way to find your purpose. So let's dive into that. First, I want us to shift our perspective. Personally, this is just my personal opinion, but I believe we've gotten far too away from the bigger idea of purpose. We've become too targeted and narrow in our thinking when it comes to finding a singular purpose. Now, this conversation may go against popular belief, and I'm okay with that. I do hope that you'll listen all the way through so that you can form your own opinion when it comes to purpose. To help us along, I've collected and combined a few definitions of the word purpose that's going to help us really support our mindset shift. So, purpose is the reason for which something is done or created. It is having an intention, an aim, or an objective for something you want to accomplish or obtain. Nowhere in those definitions does it say you have one singular purpose or aspect of your life that everything you do, think, and say must be driven through to create this one intention or this one reason why you're here on this earth having a human experience. Sit with that for just a moment. How many of us have been told that we only have one purpose in life, that there's only one special thing that we came here to do? I know I was told this story or have adopted it from other conversations, and so many I've worked with have been tripped up by some version of those words. But I want you to understand that the word purpose is allowed to have an S at the end of it. Purposes. Sure, we all have sort of this one thing that we want to do to create a legacy or that it sparks greatness within the world. But is it only one thing? Seriously, is there only one thing in all of our lives? There's only one intention that we came here to create? I want you to really ask yourself, can I be open to this conversation, to this idea that I came here to serve multiple purposes, multiple intentions, different aims? Think about it. One purpose of yours may be to bring beautiful children into the world. Perhaps purpose 2 is that you want to be a doctor, a therapist, a teacher, a baker, whatever it is, right? Purpose 3 may be that you came here to be a cycle breaker of your family's history, to break the abuse cycle or the trauma cycle. It really doesn't matter whatever purposes you put into place, as long as you're not tied to this idea that you have to only do one thing. And that if there's something else that comes along that catches your attention, that you don't hold yourself into the thought process of, well, I only came here to be this, so I can't give myself permission to be that. When I've spoken to women about this idea, so many have taken a deep breath and really realized that they have always known exactly what they wanted to do in their lives, and it's never been singular. For others, they needed a bit more push and understanding, and wherever you are on that spectrum, that's okay. If you want confirmation or you need to dive deeper into what will bring you ultimate fulfillment, then let's talk and walk through a purpose hunting process. So grab your pen, grab a piece of paper, because this exercise is really best done written. Of course, like everything else I bring to you, you can do it verbally or mentally. But here, what we're really trying to do is to look at the underlying understanding of what we are doing in our lives on a daily basis. This exercise is divided into 2 journaling experiences. The first is looking for some general information, some answers for your life. And then we're going to dive deeper into the times of your life where you felt the most alive, aligned with yourself, or, really diving into the space that you feel like you are contributing not only to yourself, but to the world at large. And once we get through the questions, I'm going to explain what you're looking for in your answers. So the first set of questions, here is number 1. What did you always want to do or be when you grew up? Was there something that you continually said you were going to do? If so, I want you to write it down. If you're currently doing that thing, great. Write that down too. Remember, what we're trying to do is to either confirm or root out our purpose. If you struggle with this one, it's okay. I want you to skip to question number 2. What are you consistently drawn to? I want you to create a list of these things. Write them out. What is it in your life that you constantly find yourself gravitating towards? Number 3, if you had 0 financial concerns and every need and every want that you possibly have was met, how would you spend your time? What would you do? And number 4, if you were on your deathbed today, is there something that you would say that you wished you would have done but haven't? I want you to answer these questions without judgment, whether from yourself or judgment of what someone else may think if you showed it to them. This is a self-directed exercise. No one is going to read your work, and you don't have to share it. So be open, be truthful, and allow yourself to write what comes to the surface. And once you've completed these answers, I want you to shift gears into the next part of this exercise. I'm going to hand over 5 different questions. You do not actually have to answer all 5 of them. Pick 3 that most, jump out at you if you don't really want to dive into all 5. But of course, if you want to do 5, that's great too. So those questions are, can you identify and list the times in your life where you felt the most passionate? That's a big one. And if you're not somebody who has a lot of passion for things, that's okay. Skip that question. Question number 2, when are the times you felt the most fulfilled? Write that down. It can be in different areas of your life, but write them all down. Number 3, when are the times you felt like your life had the most meaning? What was going on? What were you doing? Number 4, when are the times where you felt the most aligned in your mental health, physical health, financial well-being, spiritual practices, and your emotions were regulated? What were you doing in that phase of your life? Lastly, number 5, when are the times you've experienced the most flow and ease in your life? These are big questions. I don't want you to rush. I don't want you to overthink. I don't want you to cause yourself anxiety. I just want you to answer whatever comes up. And some of the questions, it'll be automatic. You'll know exactly what you should be writing down for yourself. And other times it's going to take a little bit of thought. Step away from the practice for a few minutes. Go for a jog. Think about it when you're doing a task that doesn't need a lot of mindfulness or concentration. The answer will come. This is not a race to have an understanding, okay? Now, I want you to understand the purpose of those questions. And the purpose is to show you a pattern. If you look over your answers, it's very likely that you're going to find some commonalities and patterns. Now, sometimes the patterns are quite literal and sometimes they're more symbolic of what you want in your life. So let's break down the patterns that you may find in your answers. So pattern number one are the patterns of your behavior. So this is going to be the activities, the things that you do, the things that you most enjoy. And this is the easiest to root out. And I'm going to explain what I mean. I had one woman that I work with do this exercise, and she realized that she was most happiest when she was working in her garden. And through this exercise, she also remembered that when she was a small child, all she wanted to do was own a farm stand like her great grandmother had, where she would really sell different things from her garden or different food items that she created. And when she realized this, she knew that she was not living through her true purpose. She quickly put a business plan together and started selling things from her garden at her local city's farmers market. And now she has a full-time store that she's working towards in the city that she lives in. She's never been happier. So again, look at the patterns, right? There's something in your behavior that you are likely doing that's tied back to what makes you feel the best. The next thing I want you to do is to look for those patterns of feelings. Look for the consistent positive feelings that came up when you were writing. What are the things that make you feel your happiest? Like I said, the woman mentioned that she was the happiest in her garden. So what does that look like for you? Next, look at the patterns of being. What does that mean, right? It means look at your true sense of self. What are the things that you do in your life without even realizing that they are connected to what makes you feel your best, to your purpose, to one of your purposes? For another person that I've worked with, hers was really being in the gym. She loved helping people. She loved physical fitness. Her pattern was going to the gym 5 to 6 times a week. It's where she felt the greatest sense of joy and pleasure. This was her pattern, okay? So I want you to think about that. Once we walked through this exercise, she actually enrolled herself into physical therapy school. And now she's hopeful that once she finishes her education, she can support people in a gym setting. It's really powerful. Again, we so often do things that are tied to our purpose, but we do not realize it. Purpose hunting allows us to get down to what we are already doing in our daily lives, into our thought process, and we root out this space that we have confirmation that we really need to move our entire being into that path while we support ourselves. For those of you that say, I don't have an answer for these questions, I don't have anything that I love, I'm going to say, yes, you do. You just may have forgotten, gotten tied up with other things that you are, air quotes, supposed to do and maybe aren't doing now. You've really moved away from the things that fulfill you. And in that case, again, I want you just to write down these questions or go to the show notes and print them out. Wherever you're listening, they'll be there, or you can go to the GetYourLifeTogetherGirl.com website and you can really let those answers and questions marinate. Again, this isn't a race. The questions and answers will come together and you will find this greater sense of yourself. Again, purpose does not have to be one singular element. Life has an ebb and flow to it. Things change. We grow. We change. What may work in the beginning of our lives doesn't necessarily support us for the rest of our lives. And so we have to give ourselves permission to look at what fulfills us. If your childhood dream doesn't support who you are now, that's okay too. There are many questions to help guide you into something different. Each of us has many reasons for being. The question is, what are yours? Do this exercise. I hope this gives you new insight to purpose. We have to stop overcomplicating things and simply get down to what makes us the most happiest, what makes us fulfilled, and start living from a space that we are truly lit up from the inside out. That is and will forever be available to all of us. So I challenge you to really reset your mindset and get into a space that you are living in a way that makes you feel fulfilled. Again, I cannot thank you enough for listening to this 100th episode and making a part of my purpose a reality. Thank you so much for listening to the Get Your Life Together Girl mini mindset reset. If you have a subject or strategy request, email us at getyourlifetogethergirl@gmail.com. Or you can visit our website at getyourlifetogethergirl.com. If you're looking for daily inspiration or tips and tools, join the growing community at Get Your Life Together Girl on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Thank you for being a valuable member of this community. Until next time, be kind to yourself and others.